Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we are making some more air fryer recipes. We're going to be showing you different ways that you can cook your veggies. And today we're going to be doing okra, Brussels sprouts, bacon wrapped asparagus, and crusted baked tomatoes. So I hope you will stay tuned. Okay, let's get started making our veggies. We're going to start with the okra. And what I'm doing here is I'm cutting off the ends. And I'll discard those. And if you cut into a piece of okra and it's tough, throw it away. It's not worth eating. If it cuts through, glides through easily, it's a good piece of okra. And I'm not cooking a whole bunch. I'm just doing a little bit. And I'm going to discard these. All right, first things first, I foiled the bottom of my air fryer, and we are going to order some parchment paper that goes in there. And I believe you can get those on Amazon. But for now, I'm just going to do that. And I am going to spray it a little bit because I'm going to bread this okra. Just get that out of the way for now. So now I'm just going to slice it up into thin little slices like so. So let's get that going here. Okay, almost done here. Just trying to get them thinly sliced. And okra can be a little bit slimy. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle with some salt and pepper. And I just have some cornmeal mix that I'm going to toss these in. As I get them good and coated, shake off the excess and put them in the fryer. I have the foil in the bottom to catch the cornmeal. You can also put this cornmeal in a baggie, a zipper bag, and shake it to coat it. Well, just make sure it's covered in the cornmeal. And we can clean that tray once we're done. I love fried okra. So I'm hoping this turns out well. And we are going to find out together. Okay, I'm going to put the rest of these in. All right. You can discard the rest of that. I'm just going to kind of shake it, and I'm going to spray it a little bit on the top to keep it moist. I'm going to pop that in the air fryer. Let's do 375 for 12 minutes. And it's going to go off after 6 minutes. And then we're going to shake it around, see what it looks like, and then continue. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so we're at the halfway mark. It's not really browning, so I think I'm going to put just a little bit of oil over them. Not much, just a little bit. And try not to get it everywhere. And then I'm just going to give them a little toss, because we want these to turn out crispy. Air fry doesn't mean no oil. It's less oil, and some things no oil. Alright, so we're going to put it back in. If it needs longer than the 12 minutes, we will do that. So I'm going to pop it back in, and it's going to resume, and I'll meet you back in 6 minutes. Okay, the timer's gone off. Let's check and see what's happened with our okra. Okay, it's looking better. I think from the beginning, we should have coated it with oil to begin with, and I think it would have turned out fine. I'm going to sample a little bit of it. I know it's hot, but I may put it back in because some of it is still a little white with the cornmeal. Let me get that out and cool it. And let's see how it tastes. If it tastes good and it's crispy, we have a winner. It's really good. So I'm going to stick this in for a couple of more minutes to get the white cooked on the rest of the okra. And then I'll pour this out in a bowl. And then when we return, we're going to start with Brussels sprouts. Okay, this is how the okra turned out. We've tasted it. It's delicious. My tip would be to drizzle it with oil, you know, after you coat it with the cornmeal, and I think it would cook a little better. But all in all, it turned out well. So first attempt to making fresh okra. You can also buy the okra that's already breaded in the freezer section and cook that as well. But this was fresh okra that we bought from the farmer's market and coated it ourselves. It's delicious. So this is very good, especially for our first try in the air fryer. Next, we're going to do Brussels sprouts. So what I do for the Brussels sprouts is I cut off the end, discard that, and then I cut it in half. So let's get started with that. Okay, now that I've got them cut, the ends cut off, I'm going to cut them in half. I like to cut them in half because I think they cook a little better and they're easier to eat. So this time, I'm going to put them in a zipper bag to season them. And we'll see how they turn out. So let's cut these in half and I'll stick them in the zipper bag. And these little pieces, the leaves, you can cook those as well. They'll be very delicious. Okay, so I've got these cut in half. So I'm going to put these and the loose little leaves that came off into the bag. Now, if you remember a few months ago, I showed you how I make these in the oven. Pretty much the same way, but we're going to try it in the air fryer. And I usually cook more than this. But these are just samplings that I wanted to try. I picked up a few veggies at the farmer's market today. And don't throw these away. They're good to eat. All right, so we'll get all this in the bag. So I usually use olive oil. I'm out of olive oil, so I'm just going to use regular cooking oil. And not a whole lot, maybe about a tablespoon or so in there. You just want them good and coated, and that way your seasonings will stick. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is shake this up. And more or less depending on how many you have. Alright, so we're going to start with my favorite seasoning, which is Everglades, and we always put the link below. We are not affiliate. We do not get paid by them. We just love their product. Okay, so I'm not measuring anything, but this is kind of a season to taste. So approximately maybe a teaspoon of everything. Alright, so I've got Everglades. I've got garlic powder. And a little bit of onion powder. The Everglades will add salt to it, so I'm not going to add any salt and pepper. Alright, so I'm going to give it a good shake. Okay, I think these will be good, maybe 12 minutes. So I'm just going to dump all that in there, spread it around. Make sure it's kind of laying flat, not piled up on top of each other. Alright, so I'm going to put this in. I'm going to set it at 400. And we're going to do 12 minutes. It'll stop at 6, which is the halfway mark. And when we take it out, we're going to shake it up. And then I'm going to sprinkle it with some Parmesan and let it cook the rest of the way. So stay tuned for that. Okay, just in time for the halfway mark here. So I'm going to take it out. Ooh, they're browning very nicely. So I'm going to give them a shake. And then I'm going to sprinkle them with some Parmesan. The little leaves are browning faster. And this smells wonderful. I wish you could smell it. Alright, so I've sprinkled them with the Parmesan. I'm going to put them back in, and they will resume cooking for another 6 minutes. And then I'll show you what they look like, and then we'll move on. Okay, it's almost time for the timer to go off. I hope we didn't overcook them. Hopefully they turned out perfect. We love Brussels sprouts. Is one of our favorites. Okay, the Office just came on. Okay, they're a little browner than we normally do in the oven, so maybe we'll cut back to 10 minutes on the Brussels sprouts. But they look tasty, and let's get them out and cooled a little bit, and I'll taste one. They're not too burnt, no. Now the separate leaves, they will brown, even in the oven they brown a little more. But I'm going to say, let's cut this down to 10 minutes. You know, cook the 5 and then cook the remaining 5. The separated leaves brown just a little more. And like I said, in the oven they brown a little more than the rest. But I wish you could smell this, because it does smell wonderful. And those leaves are really crispy, so yeah, might make a really good chip or something. All right, let's get this out of the way. All right, see, these are how they look. I think they look pretty. So let me find one, a little one. Okay, they're tender, so I can stick a fork right in it. They're hot. Still hot, but it's perfect. So if you like them this brown, I say, you know, cook them at 12. If you want them a little less brown, cook it at 10. But those are delicious. So come back, we'll do the asparagus. Okay, so now we're going to do our asparagus. So what you need to do, we're going to have to cut off the big ends because they're hard and chewy. So probably about that much. And then we're going to put them in the zipper bag to season. So I'm taking my knife and I'm cutting off the ends. Like so, and we're going to discard these. All right, so I've taken all those off. I'm going to get these out of the way. All right, so we're just going to drizzle again with some oil. I found out cooking the vegetables, you do need to drizzle just a little bit of oil. You're not frying it like you would in a pan, but just a little bit of oil helps them to cook better. So maybe about a tablespoon or so. Like I said, I'm not measuring. So I'm just going to shake these up. And they will have a little fat on them from the bacon. And I'm just going to simply season them with some seasoning salt. So like I said, I'm not measuring. Just make sure they're well coated with the seasoning. Okay, next we're going to do a bundle of 4s. So 1, 2, 3, there's 4. And I'm going to wrap this in a slice of bacon. I'm going to start down here, overlap, go up, and just kind of tighten it up there. And then I'm just going to lay them in the fryer like so. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Just kind of start at the bottom again. Overlap the wrap. Go up the stalks. Like so. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I have 4 bundles of 4. And I do have room for 1 more. My hands are messy, so I'm going to get a paper towel and wipe them off so I don't get it all over my air fryer. Alright, so I'm going to pop these in. You have to line it up just right so it'll go in. And we're going to do 400, and we're going to do about 10 minutes and start, and it will notify me when it gets to the halfway mark, which will be 5 minutes. We'll check on it, we'll turn them and do them another 5 minutes, and then we'll see if they're done. If not, we can always put them back in for a few minutes, so stay tuned for that. Okay, we're at the halfway mark. Okay, it's coming up nicely. You see that? You hear that sizzle? So all I'm going to do is give these a turn. Flip them over, and we're going to see if they are done in the next 5 minutes. We want to make sure the bacon's done. Okay, so I flipped them. I'm going to put them in for the remainder of the 5, and then we'll check if they're not done. We'll put them in for a few more minutes. So stay tuned for that. Okay, we're almost at the end of the 2nd cycle. So let's let it finish, and then we'll see if we need to put it back in for a few minutes. So I'm going to let that finish. Got my tongs here. We'll get them out if they're ready. If they look like they need more time, we will do that for them. This smells amazing. I wish we're going to invent smell-o-vision one day. I know we will. Because when you're watching these cooking shows, yeah, you'll get hungry for sure. And I hope you try some of these recipes. You know, if you have suggestions for me to try in the air fryer, please do, or the Instant Pot, or the slow cooker. Just let me know. Okay, we have off. Okay, I think these look done to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them out. I am not going to sample these right now. Well, okay. That's a little undone. And I'm sorry, it's thunderstorming here. If you hear that, I apologize. Okay, I'm going to flip them one more time. Because when I turned them over, they weren't quite done on that side. So I'm going to put them in for maybe 4 more minutes, and then we'll see how they're going. So let me put that in. Hopefully my power will not go off while we're cooking and filming this. So let's do 4, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so our timer went off. It hasn't beeped yet, but I think it's probably done. It smells delicious. Oh yes, I think that's good there. Let's kind of flip it and make sure it's good. We don't want to burn it. Oh yeah, okay. Let's plate these up. You could put these on a paper towel or something if you wanted, or a cooling rack to drain all that grease off the bacon. So there we have asparagus bundles wrapped in bacon. Isn't that beautiful? I can't wait to try it. So I'm going to get the air fryer cleaned up so we can do our baked tomato next. So stay tuned. Next up is our baked tomato. These are amazing. I love them. So I'm just going to take a paring knife and cut out the core. And then we're going to slice it up and bake it in the air fryer. Okay, discard that. Get this little piece down here off. Discard that. Okay, so now let's slice it. I'm going to use a bigger knife to do that. Just be real careful when you're dealing with knives. And I'm just going to slice them. You can like half your tomato if you want to do that. But I like it on the slices, I think. We're not doing fried green tomatoes. We're doing baked, ripe tomatoes. That won't work. You know, these little pieces, though, you can still cook them. They're delicious. Yes, you want your food to look appeasing and pretty. But in my opinion, and my husband's as well, how it looks comes second to how it tastes. So, and we don't want to waste food. Okay, these last little pieces are not going to be shaped perfectly. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay these out. And I do have foil still in the pan, the bottom of my pan, in the air fryer to catch juices and things like that. So wipe that tomato juice off. Okay, first I am going to salt and pepper these. So I'm just going to sprinkle with a little pepper. Again, I'm not measuring seasonings for these recipes. Tomatoes do require a lot of salt. And I should have drizzled with the olive oil first. Well, actually, I have grapeseed. So I'm going to go ahead and do that so my breadcrumbs will stick. you need to kind of spread that out, you can. That one's a thick cut. Let me see if I can cut it a little bit. Yeah, this end piece is kind of hard to cut sometimes. But I'm not going to waste it because I'm just going to rub it in that olive oil right there. There we go. All right, so we've got salt, pepper. I use grapeseed. You can use olive oil, just regular vegetable oil. Okay, and I've got some Italian seasoning. And I'm going to sprinkle. These probably won't take that long to cook in here. So I think I'm going to do about 8 minutes for these. All right, so I'm going to, oh, that Italian seasoning smells good. I'm going to lay these in my air fryer. Oh, you know what I forgot? The panko. I've got Italian seasoning and I'm going to put a little panko on them. So I'm just going to put a little in my hand. And just sprinkle it on top. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to use my fingers for this. And I may not can get them all in one batch, because these are kind of wide. So, yeah, I'm going to have to do 4 slices at a time. That's okay. So I'm going to do 8 minutes. So 4 minutes, and then I'm going to sprinkle them with Parmesan and cook them another 4. We don't want these to get too done. So I am going to do it at 400. And I'm going to do it for 8 minutes. So it'll be the halftime mark at 4. I'll sprinkle it with the Parmesan and I'll be back. Okay, we're at the halfway mark for our first batch of tomatoes. Ooh, they're turning out very nice and pretty. So I'm going to sprinkle them with some Parmesan cheese. And you can use fresh Parmesan cheese if you like. That's what I do a lot of times. But I just have that handy to cook a lot of meals. All right, it's going to cook for another 4 minutes. We'll look and see how they look, and then we'll be back. All right, we're almost at the completion mark, and then we'll take the first batch of tomatoes out and see how they look. So, should be any moment now. These two smell good. I love baked tomatoes. Delicious. They complement most meals, but if you're having anything Italian, yeah, this is a good side dish for something like chicken parm or something like that. I think another vegetable I'm going to try soon is Parmesan crusted zucchini, but not today. Okay, it came off. It will beep in a minute if I let it. Oh yeah, that's golden brown. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so I'm just going to plate these up. You don't want to overcook these. You just want it, oops, lost one there. You just want the top to be crusty. And I heard, we might have to do some scientific research. I heard somewhere that cooked tomatoes are better for you than raw. Most vegetables and fruits are better for you raw, but something about cooking them releases some kind of nutrient. If anybody knows anything about that, let me know. But this is our first batch. Aren't those beautiful? So I'm just going to cook the rest of these off the camera, and then we'll come back and show you everything that we cooked today. So stay tuned. So there you have it. 4 vegetables cooked to perfection in the air fryer. And I must say, the Brussels sprouts and the asparagus were the best we've ever had. Unfortunately, due to some technical difficulties, the end portion of this video was not usable. So in lieu of the video, we are going to show you some pictures of the end product, and I hope you will enjoy them. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Also, if you'd like to see more videos, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you know when I post a new one. I pray God's blessings on each and every one of you, and I will see you on the next one.